boys and girls. Mrs. Anderson here from the Conservation District, but this time I'm not at the office. Can you tell where we're at? If you said the entrance of a cave, you're right. So guess what we're going to be talking about today? They're going to come out any minute now. Beautiful bats. I hope you think bats are beautiful. They're mammals. Remember, boys and girls, we talked about the different groups of animals, and bats are in the mammal group. Remember, it's an animal with fur, and it's born alive, not hatched out of an egg. And the mamas nurse their babies. And that's what a bat is. It's a mammal. And also, because they're so unique and special, boys and girls, the scientists have put them in their own group called Chiroptera. Can you say that with me? Chiroptera. Very good, boys and girls. Chiroptera means hand wing. And they have a thumb and 4 fingers just like we do, but they have them inside beautiful, strong, and soft wings, 2 layers of skin. And boys and girls, so that you know what those wings feel like, take 1 finger, close your eye, and feel your eyelid. That's what the bat's wings feel like. But boys and girls, they're nice and strong, and they use their shoulder muscles, and that's how they can fly with those strong wings. And boys and girls, because of the way they're made, they're very acrobatic. They can fly even better and do more acrobatic moves than birds can. And they are so interesting when they're doing their bat ballet. And boys and girls, do you know they can fly as high as an airplane, 10,000 feet, and they can soar 60 miles an hour, like your car. Pretty neat. And boys and girls, they come in all different sizes. They're small, and the smallest one is a bumblebee bat. And that's in Thailand. It's the smallest mammal on Earth. The largest one is the Malayan flying fox. And they look like little foxes, don't they? But their wingspan can be 6 feet. That's really big. Now, boys and girls, there's over 1,400 species or kinds of bats. That's a lot. Now, boys and girls, you may not see them a lot because they're the opposite of us. We're diurnal. We stay awake during the day and we sleep at night. But at night is when the bats come out and they do their ballet and they hunt for insects and take care of their babies. And they are nocturnal, the opposite of us. Awake at night and asleep during the day. Can you say nocturnal with me? Nocturnal. Very good, boys and girls. We're learning a lot of big words today. Now, boys and girls, all the bats here in Pennsylvania, where we live, are insectivores. That means they're insect-eating bats. Just like the word says, insectivore, it starts with the word insect. And boys and girls, we like things like ice cream and cake, and we think that tastes good. They think mosquitoes and gnats and flies and beetles are really tasty. And that's one thing that helps us, boys and girls. Think about it. In the summertime when the mosquitoes come out and we're trying not to get bitten by them, they're eating them. So they're helping us. So there's less mosquitoes to bite us. That's a good thing. And think of our gardens that we plant and the crops that the farmers have. They eat the pests, all the beetles and the insects that want to eat our vegetables that we have in the garden. So the bats are big helpers for us. Now, boys and girls, in order to find the mosquitoes to eat them, because remember it's dark out and they do have really good sight like we do, but if it's dark, they need something else to help them. And they have a superpower. It's called echolocation. Can you say that word with me, boys and girls? Echolocation. And that means they make a sound that comes out of either their mouth or their nose. But boys and girls, it's so high pitched we can't hear it. But the sound will hit an object and bounce off that object and echo back to the bat's ears. And that's how they know where their food is, where the next insect is, or where that tree is so they don't run into it. Boys and girls, the bats like to eat more than just insects. Our bats in Pennsylvania eat insects, but there are fish-eating bats. There are frog-eating bats. There are really cool bats that live in the rainforest, and they are pollinators that eat nectar, and there are some that are fruit eaters. The fruit-eating bats are really cool. Boys and girls, when they eat the fruit, they spit out the seeds or they eat them and they poop them out. But either way, it works out good because, boys and girls, when those seeds fall to the ground with the help of the guano, which is the bat's poop, which is really good fertilizer, and the sun and the rain, the seeds grow and they are turned into plants, and that helps to rejuvenate the rainforest. That's really important. That's a great job that they do for us. Now, boys and girls, I know that sometimes we see on TV that vampires around Halloween and bats might look scary. But I'm going to tell you about the real vampire bats. And yes, boys and girls, there are 3 species of vampire bats that live in Central and South America. But they're cute little bats, and they're very special. Vampire bats, boys and girls, have really strong leg muscles, and they will land by a sleeping cow, pig, chicken. And what they'll do is with their little sharp teeth, they'll make a small slit and they'll use their saliva or spit and it'll numb the area. There's a special chemical in their saliva that numbs it so the cow, pig, or chicken stays asleep. And then the blood will drip and they will lap it up just like your kitten laps up milk. And then, boys and girls, they will fly back to their roost and share it with some of their roost mates. That doesn't sound like a scary animal if they're willing to share their lunch. And then there's the Mexican free-tailed baps. If they lose one of their pups, then they will help the other moms by nursing their babies. So those bats are pretty interesting, adopting babies, babysitting, nursing the other ones. I think that's pretty cool. Now, boys and girls, right now it's fall and it's going to be winter. So guess what? There's not going to be any insects for them to eat. So the animals have to make adaptations to survive. That means that some of our bats will migrate or fly south where they can find some insects to eat. And some of the bats are going to hibernate. That means they're going to sleep all winter for about 6 months until the insects come back. But boys and girls, I want to tell you about something that's been happening to our beautiful bats. It's something called white nose syndrome. It's a disease. They get sick when they're in the caves hibernating, and they get a white fungus around their nose, and it wakes them up. And every time they wake up, it uses their energy, their fat reserves that they've stored. They ate a lot before to have enough fat for the winter, and this disease wakes them up. And if they wake up too many times, they're not going to make it all the way through the winter. So we don't have as many bats as we used to. So that's something we have to think about. The scientists are trying to find out why this happens and what we can do to help our bats. Now, boys and girls, I hope that you want to help our bat friends. You can build bat boxes, and I have one here to show you. They're great for the bats. They can fly into them and hold on to them and roost there and take their naps or sleep through the day, and then they can go back out hunting for their insects. Now, boys and girls, we've learned that bats are so important by eating insects, pollinating flowers, seed dispersal so that we can have new plants in the rainforest. And boys and girls, the scientists call these keystone species because they're so important. They're key species to our natural environment. They make sure that everything we need in the natural world is there. So if we lose some of these bats, that's not good. I hope that you will help by spreading the word, educating, talking to your family and friends, and telling them all about bats. And even at Halloween, when we dress up and we're trying to be scary, if someone says they're scared of bats, maybe you can tell them some of the interesting facts you've learned today and say maybe those bats aren't so scary. Maybe they're unique animals that we should make sure we protect. Lastly, I want to share this batty poem with you, boys and girls. It's called Amazing Bats. Amazing bats like to eat thousands of bugs for a tasty treat, flying through the moonlit air, traveling here and traveling there, hibernating when the weather's cold, gathered with hundreds of friends, I'm told. Many bats are endangered, I'm sad to say. There are fewer and fewer bats every day. Please be kind to bats, that's the thing to do. Tell your friends and your family too. Now, boys and girls, that's all the time we have today. I hope you've had fun. I sure have. I'll see you next time on Exploring Mother Nature. Bye.